Welcome to Hob Moor Terrace and a quick video tour of our home. Situated at the bottom of Little Hob Moor, it's a quiet part of York that I never knew existed until I designed a passive house for Tim and JJ's shepherd. A year or so later, the house next door came up for sale, a rather tired Victorian terraced house, but with a piece of land to the side of it, which meant that as well as the existing house being retrofitted, we could extend it. Our plans were to bring the existing house up to modern standards, to put photovoltaics onto the south-facing gable wall, and to build two extensions, one to provide an office for me, and one to extend the living accommodation of the house across the back of the site. This would give views out onto the enclosed rear garden and the rather lovely former landfill site planted with trees to the rear of the house, which is now a wildlife area. While the extensions were thoroughly contemporary, we kept the existing house looking traditional by replacing the aluminium windows that were there when we moved in with Victorian look-alike triple glazed windows set back into the reveals the way they would have been. These are tilt and turn windows which still give ventilation when you need it, but are wonderfully well insulated. You can see the extra reveal there from 100mm of insulation on the inside of that front wall. On the gable wall of the house, we externally insulated with 150mm of insulation, and you can see we carefully covered the edges of it with custom-made aluminium trims to fit up against the existing brickwork and the edge of the roof. The lower part of the walls were rendered. The upper part we installed photovoltaic cells both to the gable wall and then to the rear addition roof of the house. Internally, we opened up the back of the house and the flank wall of the back addition to create a new space which linked the existing back room, which is now a dining room, into a new kitchen and living space which ran right across the full width of the site. The extensions are timber frame built on raft foundations. The foundations were prepared, the frames all turned up along with a very large crane and then were lifted into place. They're all 300mm thick passive house specification, fully filled with insulation, and the timber frame was all erected within about a day and a half. You can see the depth of insulation from the step in the floor here. The new roofs are flat roofs with a green roof system with sedum, which is just about to come into flower now. The external doors and windows are all triple glazed passive house specification to give us lots of light and lots of views out into the garden to the west of the house. One of our aims was to ensure we got good air tightness throughout so we could install mechanical ventilation with heat recovery. This ensures that we get clean air throughout the house and also that the heat within the building ends up where we want it to be. And the sophisticated box of tricks gives us plenty of information about what's going on within the system. The photovoltaics feed into battery storage, and the Tesla app gives you a complete rundown on the state of charge of the battery, where any energy is going to and coming from, and also what energy you have used and generated for whatever period you choose to look at. It all works efficiently, but more importantly, it's a lovely place to be. We love the openness of the living space with the kitchen at its heart, and the way that the glazing to the west side of the house brings in afternoon and evening sunlight and links the nature outside with the living spaces inside. Sun shading gives a sheltered terrace and also stops the sun overheating the living spaces in summer. And the terrace leads out onto a small garden and a wildflower meadow that we planted to the rear. Thank you for coming around our house.